If you're looking for a fun talk topic at the Thanksgiving table, the Colorado Republican Party now says this month's election results should be rejected. Back on planet Earth, we explain how Colorado's elections are kept secure, including the signature verification that can sometimes flag older people's ballots.
My signature doesn't look like what it used to look like.
Ever wonder how they come up with those holiday travel projections? Yeah, so did our reporter assigned to that familiar story. While I have some thoughts about a Thanksgiving tradition that I don't think is real. And we'll head to the airport as families try to figure out how to family with each other.
Waiting for my crazy California daughter to arrive. Yeah, her name's Hannah.
Because it's Thanksgiving Eve, so grab a seat on a couch, pour a glass of something, anything. This is next. Just in time for your uncle to bring it up at Thanksgiving, the Colorado Republican Party says this month's election results should be rejected. The state party, of course, is run by election deniers, and today the party issued a formal call for county canvassing boards to refuse to certify the 2023 election. Now, this kind of talk is not new. State Party Chairman Dave Williams recently told a white nationalist podcaster that Colorado doesn't have any fair elections. Today, the Colorado GOP issued a call to reject the 2023 elections. This call came from their Ballot and Election Security Committee chairman. That dude would be Ron Hanks, the former state legislator and U.S. Senate candidate who was present in Washington on January 6, 2021, claimed that the mob attack on the Capitol was actually Antifa in disguise, and suggested that foreign intelligence agencies should step in to keep Donald Trump in power. We asked the Colorado Republican Party for evidence of its claim that our elections are a sham and a rigged system. They did not respond. Disinformation like that, even when it's flimsy, can be powerful when it's repeated enough or if people really want to believe it. So we also try to bring you concrete examples of how Colorado's elections work. You've sent us a lot of questions about signature verification. That's the thing that nearly broke a Coloradan's voting streak that dates back to 1966. Peter from Aurora, who talked with our politics guy, Marshall Zellinger.
The first name, Peter, is hardly legible.
Peter's handwriting is a literal sign of the times.
My name is Peter Cronus, that's C-R-O-N-A-S.
Right, just as it looks.
And the last name, you couldn't ever figure that out, that's Cronus.
When he returned his ballot with his signed envelope, the election workers at Arapahoe County could not verify that the signatures they had on file matched this. So Peter's ballot remained unopened. The county sent him a letter and email giving him up to 8 days after Election Day to cure his ballot by confirming the signature was his, which Peter did.
This is something that the folks in the audience who aren't old enough to experience it yet are going to learn the hard way. Your signature changes over time, a lot of times because your hands shake.
Our bipartisan election judges weren't able to confirm that the signature on his ballot envelope was in fact his because it had changed.
Bill Mast is the elections director in Arapahoe County, and just like every county, election judges are taught to look for signature discrepancies.
We have at times provided trainings through the FBI or the Colorado State Police.
Compare Peter's signature today to his old Florida license, or his current Colorado license, or his marriage license from 15 years ago.
You could actually read my signature when I first started signing my name, and now it's, you could maybe read it, but good luck with that.
This was more to Peter than simply his signature.
This is a photo of my father in his uniform.
It was about a tradition started 57 years ago.
My father always made it a very special occasion when it was time to vote. He'd get his shoes shined, he'd get a clean white shirt out, a freshly pressed suit, and we'd walk together over to the election polling place, and he basically demonstrated to me by example how important it was to vote every time there was an election, because your voice needs to be heard.
He was so moved by what happened, he wrote a letter to Arapahoe County Elections Office. I want to read the very end. Now, thanks to the very competent folks at the Arapahoe County Elections Division, my vote was counted, and as a result, I was able to continue my dad's Election Day tradition. I did not fail him, nor did I fail in my own obligation to vote.
Oh, that's special. And it's just like, When you hear people talk nonsense about our voting systems, you forget how many Coloradans, how many Americans truly do understand the right to vote, treasure the right to vote, and want the process to work well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who are in Peter's situation where maybe their signature didn't match or they forgot to sign. And there statewide were 16,800 ballots that were eligible to be cured. Again, it may not have been a signature issue. Maybe it was something else, like you just forgot your signature. Almost 5,000 were cured. That leaves 11,800 that weren't. And all of those, I'm pretty sure all of those, get sent to the district attorney's office just to make sure there was no funny business. And most of the time, there's, if not all, there's no funny business. Every now and then, 1 or 2 or 3 people, you got to prod a little more. Wait a minute, we never heard back from you. What's going on? Did someone do this nefariously? And it's very rare. And we've, a handful of times over the last decade we've talked about it?
Yeah. What a sweet letter. Thank you for sharing that. Marshall, thank you. Denver City Council's point person on the issue of homelessness is stepping down from that role, with Councilwoman Stacey Gilmore saying that she is sick of the Johnston administration's disrespect.
But there certainly was a great deal of dialogue, pointed dialogue yesterday, and Councilwoman Gilmore respected her decision to step down as chair.
City Council has been demanding more transparency and more input on Mayor Mike Johnston's plan to shelter 1,000 people from the streets at the end of the year. The city has been losing proposed micro-community sites one after another, often because of community opposition. The Denver Post says that yesterday, during an untelevised meeting between city council members and the mayor's team, Councilwoman Gilmore said, quote, "I feel like I've been gaslit in meetings, giving me bits and pieces, just enough to do a good dog and pony show for the cameras to get things through to the full council." Gilmore didn't get back to us about that today. She's going to stay on the committee that works on homelessness, but she will no longer lead that group. The mayor's office told us today that they have been straightforward with council. They said that they are moving with the urgency that the situation requires. It's Thanksgiving week. Let's feed some people, and not just for one holiday. Let's feed some Coloradans for a whole year. This week's Word of Thanks microgiving campaign will help Mesa County Meal on Wheels take some seniors off of their waiting list. That nonprofit's organizers are real honest, that out there, it is hard to get people to ask for help. So when they do ask for help and they're told no, told that they have to wait because there aren't funds available, that's really hard. There are more than 100 people on the waiting list there for Meals on Wheels, waiting for food, waiting for the companionship that comes with perhaps the only visitor that they'll see for a time. Mesa County Meals on Wheels will only take people off the wait list if they are certain that they have the funding to provide them with a whole year's worth of hand-prepared and hand-delivered meals. So that's where we come in. For every $3,500 that we can raise together, they're going to call up one senior on the Western Slope and tell them they're off the wait list. Their meals are covered for the next year. That's where all the money that we raise is going to go, to reduce the number of people waiting for food. Scan the QR code on your screen or text the word THANKS to 303-871-1491 to get that link to donate. We know that your $5 donations combine to do some big things around the state. So as always, I will match the first 50 donations of $5 to get us rolling. This week, in collaboration with 9 Cares Colorado Shares, let's do something direct, something measurable to feed Coloradans in need, not just for a holiday, but all year long.
Ours has always been a travel forecast, not a travel analysis.
Security lines at the airport today suggest that fewer people are traveling than expected. So how are those projections put together anyway? It's not like they're polling people to see where they're going for Thanksgiving. Speaking of, we need to talk about a Thanksgiving tradition that I do not believe is real. And let's also soak in the pure joy that is families reuniting today. That's next. You'll always hear this many people are expected to travel for the holidays. Our Mark Salinger wondered, how do they know?
Flying, almost 50 million people around the country are expected to hit the road sometime this Thanksgiving.
Bet you've heard numbers like that before. Yeah, I said them on TV yesterday. And then I thought, wait, how do they even come up with that? This is the time of year where we tell you to pack your patience as you hit the road, because 49.1 million others are doing the same thing, or get to the airport at least 3 hours early. This will be the busiest Thanksgiving for flying since 2005. Really? How do you come up with that?
It is a survey-influenced macro and economic analysis.
Ah, yes, that totally makes sense now.
We're measuring a segment of the economy.
Styler McKinley is with AAA. They famously put out the numbers every holiday about how many people will travel. Turns out it's based more on the economy than how many people bought plane tickets. AAA measures certain parts of the economy and puts it all into an algorithm, along with a survey of 50,000 people. It spits out a number that usually falls into a certain trend. When the economy is healthy, more people travel.
So that could be the overall employment. It can be economic output for both a region and the country at large. It can be household net worth. It can be the amount of credit card debt.
So will exactly 55.4 million people travel more than 50 miles from home this Thanksgiving, as AAA predicts? There is no way to find out. AAA doesn't go back to find out how accurate the prediction was.
Ours has always been a travel forecast, not a travel analysis.
So then there are other numbers, like the FAA saying that there are 49,000 expected flights today around the country. That number is more cut and dry, as opposed to a travel forecast. That's simply a fact. That's the number of flights that are scheduled, Kyle.
At the end of the day,
Does it matter?
It doesn't matter, and people's travel experiences are their own, and they're often dictated by how prepared you are.
I just love more than 50 million whatever people are supposed to drive 50 miles or more.
Yeah.
How do you figure that out? You can't.
I don't know. All right. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
Every year around this time, the TV news offers these seriously worded warnings about which Thanksgiving foods you can and cannot take through airport security. I am not convinced that this is an actual thing that real people do. You're telling me that there are people who are flying for the holidays with full turkeys in their checked luggage. Also, what would that say about your host's cooking ability? Why, yes, Lisa, we would love to fly to Tuscaloosa for Thanksgiving, but your bird is always dry as a cracker, so I'm going to bake one in Colorado and bring it in the Samsonite. No one is doing this. But our TV news obsession with offering handy tips and repeating whatever the government tells us to say means that we will trot out these pre-produced TSA images telling people, you know what, you can put a pie in your carry-on. That's also where you can place meats, cooked or uncooked. I swear if I am ever asked to help somebody lift a dripping bag of turkey and its juices into an overhead compartment, I will never get on a plane again. Now, the TSA's other helpful graphic tells us that we need to check our bags containing cans of yams and corn because you're flying to a destination that has an airport but not a grocery store. Again, are people really doing this? Is your sister-in-law's stuffing so bland that you are going to passive-aggressively bring your own stuffing cross-country in your luggage to show Sharon what's up? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that you once had a full bird taken flight in your carry-on. Tell me that you smuggled yams into some yamless land. But until then, I don't think that's real. I know, Chris Bianchi, I sound like that woman who stood up on the plane and was yelling like that blankety blank isn't real. I know I sound like that woman, but I don't honestly believe that people are packing full Thanksgiving feasts and taking them on planes. I don't know.
Kyle, this is the most get off my lawn commentary I think I've seen you have.
Again, I want to hear from these people who are taking full birds cross country. You know, the people who are just like, hey, listen, Karen, love your sweet potatoes, but mine were worth bringing across the country. Like, I want to hear those stories.
Could you imagine the smell if somebody brought a turkey on the plane?
Doesn't happen.
Don't want to even think about that. But maybe you want to think about this. I don't know. Today was 68 degrees on Friday. 25 degrees. That is about as Colorado as it gets, isn't it? Well, goodbye warmth. Hello. Cloudy, cold, winter-like weather. That's en route for tomorrow and really for your Friday. You've probably heard we're going to get some snow. Cold front arrives overnight. That means it's mostly cloudy. It's going to be very chilly for your Thanksgiving. The snow doesn't develop until after dark tomorrow, so most of the day it's just kind of cloudy and chilly for us. But that snow starts between about 5 and 10 p.m., maybe a little bit earlier as you go, a bit north for friends in Boulder and Fort Collins. Then that snow and cold sticks around all day long on your Friday. Burr, indeed, and that snow sticks around into your Saturday morning as well. Snowfall amounts, heaviest for us here into the foothills west of Denver. That's where we have winter storm warnings. But for us here in town, about a 2 to 4 inch snowfall. That's the most likely scenario. Maybe a slightly better chance that we get a bit more than that compared to a bit less than that. 7-day forecast, temperatures stuck in the 20s for Friday and Saturday.
Can I interest anybody in a little pure joy? That is next. The day before any holiday, there is one place you want to be, watching families arrive at the airport.
I think there was a movie, Love Actually, where they said going to the airport is one of the most fun things to do because you get to see everybody. Everybody's in a good mood.
Yeah, a lot of happy reunions I see all over.
I want to see another reunion. Oh, these are so cute.
Isn't that fun? Okay. Maybe the next batch.
I think a lot of people are coming home for Thanksgiving, spending time with their families.
We're waiting for our son.
Okay, so Jaden wants to be a pilot. She'll always do what she can. She puts her best foot forward.
Waiting for my crazy California daughter to arrive.
Yes, I've been waiting for this one.
They got the flowers ready.
Oh. My favorites are the ones with the little kids who are running up to each other or their grandparents and are just really excited to see each other. She's at the A gates, which means she's on the train.
She's on the
Mom,
train.
she's on the train.
You don't see any sad faces at all. Mostly young people in love are the most fun.
Someone should start asking them where they're coming from.
How are you doing?
Hello. Hello.
There she is. Hi, Susie. How are you? Hi.
Hi, how are you?
He's here. Where?
It's really just about loving your family and being there for one another.
I'm waiting for that hug for like 18 years.
Love you, bud.
This Thanksgiving, I'm grateful for another year in one of the most beautiful places on earth. I'm grateful that everyone stayed calm and positive when the Broncos started 1-4. I'm grateful Colorado's elected leaders are once again modeling civil disagreement and respect for one another. I'm grateful that XL Energy didn't turn off the lights at Marshall Zellinger's house after months of investigative reporting on him. I'm grateful the number of mayoral candidates on the debate stage never exceeded the fire code. I'm grateful that you, in a year of declining charitable giving, still raised more than $1 million for Colorado's nonprofits through your Word of Thanks microgiving. I'm grateful to Congressman Ken Buck, whose incredible display of flexibility showed us it's possible to take every single position on the same issue. I'm grateful for whatever Coach Michael Malone enjoyed before he stepped to the microphone at the championship parade. I'm grateful to outgoing Denver School Board Director Ayante Anderson, who promised a peaceful transition of power on the Denver School Board. I'm grateful for the Coloradans who realize that neighbors are still neighbors even if they don't have a house. I'm grateful for the closed captioning mess up that gave Chris Bianchi his new nickname, Crispy Donkey. I'm grateful for the man who brought some swagger back to CU, brought excitement back to Saturdays. I'm grateful for the Coloradans who have welcomed migrants fleeing violence, offering them shelter, food, and hope. I'm grateful for elected officials who are passionate about performing acts of public service. I'm grateful for the talented team that puts Next together every day, and to 9 News leadership for not taking the show off the air already. I'm grateful for the conversations that we have here together that help us better understand the state we love. Very grateful indeed. Happy Thanksgiving. Meals on Wheels is often a gateway to get seniors to accept other help they really need. They have a meal with that friend and they open up about their situation, which is why it's heartbreaking that Mesa County Meals on Wheels has a wait list due to a lack of funding. Every dollar we raise through this week's Word of Thanks microgiving campaign will go toward taking seniors off that wait list. Scan the QR code on your screen or text the word THANKS to 303-871-1491 to join me and others in donating. This is our chance to feed our neighbors, not just for a holiday, but really all year long. For the remainder of this year, I will be reading your hilarious feedback about food that you or other people have taken on planes. Jerry writes, my wife decided she needed to take a ham home for Thanksgiving. Going through TSA, the inspector stopped her and said, ma'am, is that a ham? Jerry says, my daughter and I ran away as fast as we could. Happy Thanksgiving. I'll see you next time.